Hey, what's up? My name is Josh. I've built and sold 4 companies. I help local small business owners make a lot more money, starting with their brain, right? Because you can make money with your back in the sweat of your brow, and that's honorable, but you can make a lot of money with your brain. What's the difference between people that are just surviving versus people that are thriving? Well, I think there's lots of differences. You know, for me, I got married at 20 years old, lived in a trailer park when I started my first local service business. I cleaned people's windows. I would knock on doors. I thought it was really wild that people would give me money to squeegee dirt off of glass. It broke my brain. I'm like, why are you paying for this? It's instantly going to get dirty again. I wasn't my customer, but people kept paying me for it. And when I think about who I was back then, there's so many differences and there's so many similarities. I had similar cheesy jokes, right? I was devastatingly handsome then, just like I am now. Hey, babe, just saying hi. No, I'm just kidding. Who I was kind of the same, but what I thought was true and what I believed today is totally different than what it was back then, right? Which is, it's normal, it's evolution. And then because I've worked with over 1,000 small business owners, I've become a professional dot connector in terms of like patterns of why people get stuck. And there's lots of different reasons, but one of them is because people don't understand that what got you here won't get you there. Another way to think of this is if nothing changes, nothing changes. If you continue to do the things that you've done and think the thoughts that you've thought, did I say that right? Then nothing will fundamentally change. You might have nominal incremental growth over time, which is great. And that's the story for a lot of family companies because they have integrity and they make a great apple pie, their little family diner. It will survive, but it never thrives. They're not going to be buying Lamborghinis and building orphanages and going on $50,000 family vacations or whatever it is that they would dream of doing because they haven't leveled up how they think or they haven't leveled up what they do. And so I want to talk about monopoly money and the way that you view dollars and the way that I viewed dollars in the early days versus how I view them now. This is pretty simple, but I think it could be huge maybe for you. And I hope that it is. So you got to realize when you're small and you're in survival mode, you view every dollar as like nutrition. It's food, it's oxygen. But there has to come a point when you cross the Rubicon into thrival thinking and you kind of graduate out of survival thinking. Here's what I mean. If you have a little business and you're doing $100,000 a year, 2, 3, 4, 500,000 a year, not a lot of revenue, but it's enough to kind of take care of your needs at a basic level, you have to at some point draw a line in the sand and then make a commitment to yourself that from today forward, I'm going to view any and all money above my base where I am now, any and all money above that is monopoly money. It's a game. Now, business is a game, but I understand the stakes are high and not paying your electric bill is not a game. Missing your mortgage payment and your car payment, that's not a game. It's not a very fun game. But what I see is people scale their lifestyle with their business and it never stops. And because people choose to do this, they get stuck in perpetuity forever. It's like a Groundhog's Day of bad results and it's pain and it's stressful. And let's say you do $200,000-300,000 in revenue and you have a basic middle-class income that you can extract out of that. And then you catch a break. You get a couple big clients and you do $500,000 the next year. Well, what happens is people buy a bass boat, they upgrade their truck, they take that Disney vacation, they pay off their credit cards, and they take all this extra money, this extra couple $100,000 that was created. And because they weren't moving into thrival mode and drawing a line in the sand, they're still actually in survival mode, even though they're buying these things. And they're in survival mode because mentally the way they view money is wrong, at least assuming you want to get rich and you want to get financially free. At some point, you have to lock your lifestyle in place. And then all this extra revenue is an opportunity for you to start playing a different game. It's really true that a $2 million business is actually way easier and less stressful to run than a $200,000 business. But if you are constantly choking and sucking the oxygen out of your company by increasing your lifestyle along with revenue, what happens is you grow way slower. And you get stuck there kind of forever. And you don't have the money you need to invest in your staff and to spin up marketing campaigns. You know, sometimes for a really good, effective sales and marketing system to exist, you have to waste, I say that with quotes, $40,000 learning. You have to test a whole bunch of stuff, learning to get the feedback loop to then have found the winner, and then you can scale that. But once you have it, you could scale to 3 million, to 5 million, to 10 million. You could franchise your business. It could be the missing skeleton key of everything you need, but there's not enough free cash flow or monopoly money for you to even play that game to find out, right? So imagine you had to grow your business and there's no social media. What would you do? Well, you would make lots of noise. You'd have to go talk to people. You'd have to go human to human. There's no bulk text messaging. There's no Facebook. You would have to go talk to people. And if you didn't go talk to people, or only 10% of your working hours was spent talking to people, can we both agree that you'd probably be broke, right? Most small business owners just need way more volume of noisiness, of making known, of just not hammering people, not convincing people to give you money, but just being excited about your business so people know that it exists. And back then, there was no shortcuts like there is now. And I think part of the problem is we have it really easy right now. And even if you're frustrated with your business growth, you're probably not frustrated enough. Because when I said if nothing changes, people usually only take action when there's massive pain. There's kind of two buckets of people. There's the super high achiever, weirdo fighter jet people, and they take action just because they want to be one of the 1%. They have an internal fire in their belly that they can't put out, and they take action because of their own inner dissatisfaction with their self. They're always disappointed. I can do more. How do I do more? How do I do more? But those personality types only represent a small sliver of the population. Everybody else, even the ones that complain and say that their business isn't working, they're kind of like, okay. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that they're happy with their circumstance. It means they're not in enough pain to actually fundamentally change something and do something different, right? Because if you were, you would figure it out. And, if it's the year 1713 and you have to chop down trees and build a log cabin before winter or you die, guess what? You chop down trees and build a log cabin so that you don't die. And today, it's not quite like that. Because in the back of your mind, you're like, well, it'll be fine. I could do that online sales funnel. I heard Russell say I'm only one funnel away. I could do that next month. I'll get rich pretty soon. I know. You know what? I've worked hard. I deserve it. You know what? We're going to get that Chevy Silverado that I've always wanted. And so there's all this short-term logical justification of you sabotaging your own success on accident. If you want to really crush it, you have to delay gratification for a little while. Most people aren't willing to put their head down for a year, even though it'll give them everything they want. They really aren't. And, I'm not beating you up. It's just the reality. But ask yourself and be honest. But when it comes to monopoly money, once you get to a place of basic stability, meaning you can buy peanut butter jelly sandwiches and pay your electric bill, okay? When that's true, anything above and beyond that is game money. It's house money. And what do you want to do with that is hire more people and test marketing campaigns and build levers. That's the game. People sometimes complain that it's too expensive. They can't afford to hire an employee. But the reality is that all employees are free. They don't cost anything. Employees are free if you have a marketing lever and you understand how money moves in and out of a business. In your service business, if you have a local cleaning company or something, you only pay your employee a portion of the value that they're generating for you. Therefore, they're free. And you might have an administrative person or someone that works in the back office that's a cost center to your business. Fair enough, but they're still free too, assuming you're making noise and the business is growing. So remember, employees are free. In a way, marketing's kind of free if you use your brain, create money, lock your lifestyle, and think long term. I'm not saying you have to do it. These are just things to consider and things that I think about. When I look back at old Josh, I thought every dollar that came into my business should go to my own consumption because I deserved it and I worked really hard. And then Josh today realizes that Josh gets to eat last, but Josh is going to get the biggest reward out of anybody if I can hold the ship together and it doesn't burst into flames on the way to the mountaintop, right?